So lads, Angel Reese did what everybody expected Angel Reese to do.
Angel Reese.
Angel Reese. The name that never stays out of headlines. And once again, she did exactly what people expected her to do, make the night all about her. On a day that was supposed to be filled with pure respect, history, and celebration, Angel Reese turned Candace Parker's jersey retirement into a firestorm of controversy. Every single player, every coach, every staff member in the building proudly wore Candace Parker's number across their chest as a tribute to a living legend, but Angel? She showed up in her own black warm-up top, the lone figure refusing to join the moment. In an instant, the applause, the nostalgia, and the love for Candace flipped into whispers, side eyes, and then a full-blown internet meltdown. Was it petty? Was it disrespect? Or was it Angel Reese sending a message so loud the entire WNBA had to hear it? Because while the banners were being raised to honor a two-time champion, the spotlight shifted to a young star who clearly wasn't afraid to break tradition and stir the pot. And whether you love her or hate her, you couldn't ignore her. The scene itself couldn't have been more powerful. Candace Parker, one of the greatest to ever step on a WNBA court, finally had her number lifted to the rafters. The crowd roared, teammates and coaches stood unified, and the Chicago sky honored the very woman who brought them their first ever championship. The tribute shirts weren't just fabric, they were a statement, a symbol of gratitude for everything Parker gave to the game. And yet, in that sea of white, one figure stood apart, Angel Reese. No number across her chest, no tribute to the legend, just her black warm-up top, arms crossed, face locked in her own world. Fans noticed instantly, cameras zoomed in, social media lit up like wildfire. What was supposed to be a pure, emotional ceremony instantly turned into a viral debate. Was Angel really refusing to honor Candace Parker? Or was this just a coincidence? The answer didn't matter because the optics were brutal. Every single person on that court paid their respect except her. And when you're already one of the most polarizing stars in the league, people don't just shrug it off. They take sides, they argue, they amplify the drama until it drowns out everything else. That night, the spotlight wasn't only on Candace Parker's legacy, it was on Angel Reese's decision to stand out, to separate herself from the pack, and in doing so, she hijacked the narrative. What made this moment sting even more is that Angel Reese and Candace Parker already had history. This wasn't just a random act of defiance. It was the latest chapter in a brewing tension that fans had been watching closely. Just weeks earlier, Parker dropped her highly anticipated player rankings. Now, normally, these lists spark debate, but when a legend like Candace speaks, the league listens. She praised Reese's athletic frame, her motor, her ability to run the floor, even said the potential was there for her to grow into an MVP. But here's the catch. She didn't place Reese in that top tier alongside names like Aja Wilson or Paige Buchers. Instead, she slotted her next to Cameron Brink, calling her a solid talent with room to grow. It wasn't an insult. It was honest analysis from a veteran. But for a competitor like Angel Reese, those words hit differently. She's built her brand on proving doubters wrong, on embracing the villain role. And the internet wasted no time twisting Candace's comments into fuel for a feud. Clips were chopped up, headlines exaggerated, and suddenly, the narrative spread that Parker didn't believe in Reese, that she downplayed her, that maybe she was even jealous. And that's when Angel snapped. She started liking tweets, dragging Parker, amplifying posts that mocked her career, and even retweeting fans suggesting Parker was bitter. What began as basketball commentary spiraled into personal shade, and by the time Jersey retirement night arrived, the tension was already boiling. By the time Jersey retirement night tipped off, it wasn't just another ceremony, it was a showdown. The Sky had prepared everything to perfection. Tribute speeches, highlight reels, and of course those special shirts that symbolize unity and respect. Every single player pulled one on without hesitation. Coaches too. Even the staff on the bench made sure they were part of honoring Candace Parker's legacy. But not Angel Reese. She stood alone in her black warm-up, the only figure on the court who refused to blend in. And in that moment, the silence of her choice was louder than any speech. Fans instantly noticed, cameras locked on her, and social media exploded. Some called it petty, others said it was iconic, but no one denied it was deliberate. Angel wasn't hiding behind coincidence, she was making a statement. It was as if she looked at the tradition, looked at the emotion of the night, and decided, I'm not playing along. For critics, it was flat-out disrespect, hijacking a legend's moment to fuel personal pride. For her supporters, it was fearless, a refusal to fake admiration for someone she felt had disrespected her first. Either way, the damage was done. The tribute became background noise. The real headline was Reese's defiance. A jersey retirement meant to immortalize a champion was now remembered for a young star refusing to wear a shirt. And that was exactly the kind of bold, polarizing move that Angel Reese has built her name on. The crazy part is, Candace Parker herself didn't even fire back. On the broadcast that same night, she was nothing but professional, even complimentary. She broke down Reese's game, praised her rebounding, her athletic frame, and said her potential was limitless. That's not shade, that's a legend giving credit. But Parker also made one key point that couldn't be ignored. Being a first option in the WNBA is a whole different level of pressure. It's one thing to grab rebounds and hustle, but carrying an entire franchise on your shoulders night after night is a test only a few players survive. Parker hinted that Reese, right now, might be better suited as a second or third option, and honestly, that was accurate. The Sky's record this season proves it. Reese can put up monster double-doubles, she can break Tina Charles's record for fastest to 20-inch her first 2 seasons, and she can still walk off the court with a loss because efficiency and leadership matter just as much as raw stats. That wasn't an insult, that was Parker being real. But for Angel Reese, those words became fuel. A reminder that not everyone believes she's already arrived as the superstar she claims to be. And instead of taking the critique quietly, she turned it into a spectacle. That warm-up top became a silent protest, her way of saying, I hear you, I see you, and I don't agree. And that silence spoke louder than any tweet or clapback could have. And that's when the internet turned the whole thing into a circus. Within minutes of Reese stepping on the court without that tribute shirt, clips were everywhere. Fans flooded Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram with side-by-side comparisons, every single player in white, Reese in black. Some called it the pettiest move in WNBA history. Others said it was a queen move and proof she's unapologetically herself. The debate raged. Was she disrespecting a legend or refusing to fake admiration for someone she felt never believed in her? And because this is Angel Reese, the conversation didn't stop with basketball. Memes rolled in, edits painted her as the league's villain, and supporters doubled down saying it's about time someone brought real edge to the game. Critics hammered her, saying you can't build your brand off disrespecting the very shoulders you're standing on. But here's the truth. Controversy sells, and Reese knows it. Whether you think she's being childish or brilliant, her name was trending nationwide. Candace Parker's jersey may have gone up to the rafters, but Angel Reese hijacked the headlines. And in today's WNBA, sometimes being polarizing is more valuable than being perfect. She turned a celebration into a debate, and in the process, she reminded the world that she's not here to be quiet, she's here to be unforgettable. What makes this whole night even crazier is that Angel Reese didn't just make headlines for what she wore or didn't wear, she also went out and played. And on paper, her stat line was strong. 10 points, 17 rebounds, another double-double that pushed her into record-breaking territory. She officially passed Tina Charles for the most double-doubles in a player's first 2 seasons. That should have been the headline, that should have been the story plastered everywhere. But it wasn't, because while the numbers were impressive, the game itself told a different story. The Sky still lost, and Reese's shaky efficiency on offense stood out. She grabbed every board in sight, but missed shots and struggles finishing around the rim kept Chicago from turning her hustle into a win. It was a mixed bag, dominant on the glass, underwhelming on the scoreboard, and yet none of that really mattered because the conversation wasn't about her game, it was about the shirt. Or, more accurately, the lack of one. That decision completely overshadowed her actual performance. Instead of people debating whether Reese is already one of the league's best rebounders, they were arguing over whether she disrespected Candace Parker. And that's the irony. She proved she belongs with her numbers. but the headlines only cared about the drama. The contrast became even sharper when fans started comparing Angel Reese's move to how other young stars handle criticism. Take Caitlin Clark, for example. She's had legends like Cheryl Swoops publicly doubt her, even questioning her entire career and throwing out comments that were flat out false. But instead of clapping back or making a scene, Clark went the opposite route. She showed respect, praised the pioneers who came before her, and let her game do the talking. That's the standard in the WNBA. Honor the legends, even if they weren't always kind to you. And that's exactly why Reese's choice stood out so much. She flipped the script. On a night where respect was supposed to be automatic, she made it personal. She made it about her versus Candace Parker. And whether you saw that as raw authenticity or unnecessary ego, it was shocking because it broke the unspoken code of the league. For years, the WNBA has been built on unity and mutual respect across generations. This was the first time in a long time that a young star so openly broke from that tradition, and that's why fans couldn't stop talking about it. Reese wasn't just making a silent protest, she was rewriting the rules of how young players are expected to act, and that made her both a villain and a hero, depending on who you asked. And of course, the media had a field day. Headlines screamed about disrespect. Commentators called it the pettiest move in league history, and debate shows couldn't get enough of it. Some analysts argued that Reese was immature, letting her emotions get in the way of professionalism, while others claimed it showed strength, refusing to bow down to someone she didn't feel supported her. Either way, it was everywhere. And that's the power of Angel Reese. She doesn't just play games, she creates storylines. A single decision, like not wearing a shirt, completely hijacked an entire ceremony and made it one of the most talked about moments of the WNBA season. But the bigger question is what it means long term. Will this become the start of her villain era, the moment she embraced the role of being the league's unapologetic disruptor? Or will it come back to haunt her years from now, a decision remembered as a lack of respect for a legend? Right now, no one can say for sure. What is certain, though, is that Angel Reese has solidified herself as the most polarizing player in women's basketball. You can love her, you can hate her, but you absolutely cannot ignore her. At the end of the day, Candace Parker's jersey retirement was supposed to be untouchable, a night about history, unity, and celebrating one of the game's greatest. But instead, it became the stage for Angel Reese to show the world exactly who she is. Unapologetic, defiant, and impossible to ignore. Her black warm-up top will be remembered far longer than the tribute shirts, not because it honored a legend, but because it sparked a debate that split the league, the fans, and the media right down the middle. Was it petty? Absolutely. Was it disrespectful? Many would say yes. But was it unforgettable? Without question. Reese walked off that court with 17 rebounds, a broken record, and another double-double in the books. Yet all anyone could talk about was the shirt she didn't wear. That's the paradox of Angel Reese. Her game demands respect, but her personality demands attention. Maybe this moment will define her as the WNBA's ultimate villain, or maybe it will just fuel her rise as one of the most dominant competitors the league has ever seen. Either way, Candace Parker's number is now in the rafters forever, and Angel Reese has once again proven she doesn't just play in the WNBA, she shakes it.